What's up, guys? I got Jordan Edwards with me, and we were just talking about time management. One of the things that really hit me is that you can have the best tech, the best team, the best mindset, but Jordan, if you can't manage your time as an agency owner, you're never going to hit your full potential. And you were dropping some gold with me earlier about the four levels of time management. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Alex, thank you for having me on the show. So there's four levels of time. The first level is reacting. This is going to be the text you get, the social media, the inbox, the reach outs, and the outcome of staying in level one is you're going to start to have burnout and distraction.
Mhm.
Level two is going to be managing. And that's where you got your schedule, your admin, your follow up. It's very predictable and it feels good, but you're not going to have any breakthroughs. Level three is going to be building, which is where you prospect, referrals, skill stacking, networking. And that's where the real growth and you're going to have a stronger pipeline is. And then level four is where we start to dive into leverage. This is
Yeah.
systems, outsourcing, hiring. And from there, you start to get scale and time freedom. And the reason these are so important is because if we sit there and as the agency owners listening right now, and we start to ask ourselves, where are we spending our time? Are we
Mhm.
mostly in level one? Are we mostly in level four? Are we mostly in three, two? Where do we really want to be? And where does that really make the change for us?
I love that. One of the most pivotal moments of my life was when I was working with a business coach. His name was Eric Lawful. And in one of our first sessions, I was describing to him how I was burnt out as a business owner. And he said, Alex, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write out right now what you want your ideal day to look like. And so I sat down and he was like, write it in a spreadsheet, like literally minute by minute from when you wake up to go to bed. I want you to like write out what your ideal day looks like. And so I wrote out, I want to have breakfast with my family, start the day at 8, work my tail off until 5, have dinner with the family, relax, etc. Right? Like it was a very detailed spreadsheet. And it felt impossible at the time, Jordan, because I was focused so much on the level 1 and 2 activities, which was the reacting and the admin. And like I was going from the time I woke up until the time I went to bed. And I just felt like I was stuck. And on my next call, when we were going over this ideal day sheet with me, he said, starting today, I want you to stop work at 5 p.m. And I was like, oh my gosh, like there's no way I have too much to do. He's like, no, trust me, you will find a way. And I'm a very coachable person, Jordan. And so I did it. I said, okay, I'm just going to clock out at 5 p.m. and not look at the computer, not look at my cell phone. Like I'm just going to do it. And it was amazing to me. I was like stressed as all heck. I had a hard time sleeping that night. But as I just got in the discipline of basically me being the master over my time, I was able to get so much more done in the day. And then he used a slightly different model of time management, but it was the same concept, which was Alex, stop spending your time reacting and doing busy work and instead focus on the building and the leverage. So, Jordan, we're talking right now, and I know an agency owner is listening and they're going, I am a complete slave to my time right now. I am not in control of any of this. How can they get started in taking control of their workday so that it doesn't own them, but they are in the driver's seat?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that comes up for agency owners, and one of the things I see that really is super helpful, is actually batching. So what
Mm.
batching is, and I do this with my phone, because what ends up happening is a majority of the time we get notifications, Amazon's delivering, CNBC, this, that. So I turn off all notifications. I go on do not disturb. You cannot reach me. You can call me, but it's going to go to voicemail because when you're focused, you can really get to where you want to be. So that's the first part. And then the second part is if you're going to batch it, cool, from 4 to 5 p.m., I'm going to respond to all the messages. I'm going to get back to all the people and I'm going to do all of the things. Because what I find is we let people call us,
Mhm.
and it lets us, they're stealing our time. They're not
Yeah.
actually stealing our time. You don't have to answer the phone. You could say, please, please text me. Can't speak right now. And they'll get back to you and they'll tell you the most important thing. But if you don't protect your time and think your time's valuable, then you're never going to get to where you want to be. And Alex, what you were saying, I love the thought of constraint. Like you cut your day down to 4 hours or 8 hours, the work will always be there. especially
Yep.
with social media. There's so many things we can do. So when we set a constraint, it helps us expand what's actually possible for us.
I love that. So let's dive in a little bit more. One of the things that I had a hard time with as I was like taking control of my day and my time was if I am not available and accessible, then my clients will leave me. This was a belief that I had, and I know a lot of insurance agents believe this too. How do you respond when you get pushback around the accessibility for the insurance agent for their clients?
Absolutely. So, I mean, that is 100%. I mean, the thing you have to start to figure out is how you can do this. And this might be outsourcing. This might be having an AI that responds right away or hiring an assistant or even, but the first thing we have to do is we have to audit our time. We have to know
Mhm.
where our time is being spent. Because if we don't take inventory of where we're at, then we just feel like we're in this chaos. Like if you've
Yep.
never had that meeting with your coach, then we never start to open up the door and see what's really possible. So the first thing I recommend to people is hour by hour for a week, just time audit. And you will
Yeah.
start to see the gaps that are popping up. You go, why did I call this person? Why did I randomly have this conversation? Why did I miss dinner with my family? Was that actually important? And yes, we think in business, I must answer every call, I must be responsive. But if you get back to people in a reasonable time, and that's the other big thing that when you're working with people, you need to set expectations. I will get
Mhm.
back to you in 48 hours. You set a hard expectation like that, you get back to them in 12, they're like, you're awesome. Like,
Yeah.
if you can set expectations and cut them down and break the expectations and do better, they're going to want to work with you more. They're going to want
Yeah.
to be around you.
Yeah, I think every we're in this economy, and the things are changing. Consumer behaviors and expectations are changing and shifting. And a couple things I've noticed is that consumers do respect when you put up boundaries. And one of the things that I'm encouraging a lot of agency owners to do is to leverage technology to guard their time. Because if somebody is calling into your agent CRM number, for example, you can immediately have a text go out to them, and you could also use voice AI to answer the phone and just get some basic information from them. But it's really about the mindset, though, right, Jordan? Like it's about being okay with not being the one answering the phone or responding to the text messages. One of the things that helped me take action with my coach when he was guiding me to break down my day like this was to put a dollar amount on my time. And I know you as a consultant, you're all about helping insurance agency owners really maximize their earning potential. How do you help them identify what it is that they're missing out on by doing the level 1 and level 2 tasks? Like, how can you make them really see what they're losing?
Yeah, so it comes down to the questions we ask ourselves, right? If they were able to do a massive deal, that's amazing. You know what I mean? And you start to realize that, and they were basically saying that if you could take your income, how much the agency made or how much you made, divide that by 2,000 and then divide that by 40, because 2,000 is all the hours in the week. So it would be 52 and then divided by 2,000 and then divided by two, you'll find that your income, say your income was 100,000, that number is going to be 25. So
Mm,
anything below that $25 cost, you're probably going to want to put on to an assistant or put on to someone else. But the only way to make that work is by asking yourself the question of like, what are my top three things I want to accomplish? Like Warren Buffett would always have a list of 25 things he needed to get done, and he would circle the top three and cross everything else out. Because
nice.
each day you need a plan. So you got to take 15 minutes, plan out what your goals are for that day, and actually work towards that so that your calendar and your business is working for you, not against you.
Mm,
Because a lot of us
yeah.
build just big prison cells in our businesses and we feel pulled in so many different directions and we're not actually taking control of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Let's talk about leverage. That's a word that, unless you've heard it explained before, is foreign. I know for me, it was a foreign concept when I first started to dive into this. How can an insurance agency owner leverage and multiply their time?
So leverage comes down to a few things. First thing, what it really looks like is it's templates, it's scripts, it's automating follow up, it's hiring support roles, and you start to see it differently. So if you can see if you start asking yourself after your time audit, what task am I doing every single day?
Mhm.
How can I take this off my desk? Or how can I automate this? So you onboard new agents. Cool. What can I do to give the agents everything they need so they can be successful? I have a new agent asking me questions all the time. That's fantastic. Maybe we set up an office hours for you or a team member under you to answer all those questions. Because if we're constantly being responsive to everyone, it's no one's building their business that they actually want. And that's why we're here. We want to build the business of our dreams.
Yeah, I love that. So when you're talking to an agency owner, they're sitting down with you, you have them do the time audit, and then as you identify the areas where you see improvement, let's walk through that. So pretend that I'm the agency owner. I've just presented to you my time audit of the last week, and man, there's a lot of level one on there. There's a lot of level two on there, and I'm like, Jordan, I feel stuck, man. What is this? What are the first steps here so that we can really start to master our time and take action on this so that it's more level three building and level four leverage time being spent?
So one of the biggest challenges for agency owners and business owners is sitting there realizing I can't do everything. I'm also not
Mhm.
great at everything. So once we have that reality and we start to create this identity of I'm just the facilitator of this opportunity, then you can start to empower your people, the top performers, the people who like to manage, the people who like to do these things, and start letting them step up in different roles. You could also hire assistants
Yeah,
because and you basically want to create boundaries for yourself where it's okay, you texted me at 2 in the morning, am I getting back to you right away? No, I'm sleeping.
yeah,
Like I need to protect my sleep. You know what I mean? So this idea of I can get back to everyone immediately is not always the best answer for us. So it's just
Mhm.
really important for us to look up and look at where we can set guardrails for ourselves. So if we have team meetings every week, cool, I'm going to start empowering the people on my team to start presenting. Why? Because if I start doing that, then I'm going to get more time back. They're going to get more fulfillment. They're going to feel better about who they are. And it's not this Jordan show, because it's not the Jordan show, it's the team show. And you
yeah.
want the team to be winning. So you have to truly take a step back, look at who you have and who you want to start empowering so that you can get out of these level one and two activities and really focus on the leverage and the building. Because if you're not doing that, then the company's not growing.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. So, for those of you that are listening right now, download the playbook at the Agency Acceleration Lab website. We go through all these notes. I'll put Jordan's contact info in there. You can reach out to him. Jordan, what's a book that you recommend that the agents listening check out to learn more about these time management skills?
So one of the books that I mean, we could do a book on time management, but the book I think that is really gonna break it down is called The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Yes.
And it gets us thinking about what's the one thing that's really gonna make everything easier for us and remove the unnecessary. So there's really if you start asking yourself better questions, you will get better results. So if you ask yourself the question of what is the one thing I can do to make everything else easier and just sit on that for a couple days, you'll start to see results. You'll start to see things that are going to give you that leverage.
I love it. Jordan, thank you so much for joining the lab. Download the playbook, y'all. Agencyacceleration.ai. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for watching. Please take notes, please take action, and subscribe. You will not get any value from the lesson you just got unless you implement it in your business. Please share this episode if you got value from it, and I'll see you online.